Hey guys, so a few weeks ago, or not weeks, but let me see, a little less than a week ago, so a few days ago, I made this picture. I was trying to compare, where I was to where I am, that kind of thing. And so I took a picture that I took in early June. It was the first time I went to the gym in forever. And then I took a picture of myself that I just took, not the last time I went to the gym, but the time before last. And then I compared the two, and it's pretty, incredible to me, if I'm honest. I went through a lot last year in terms of doing this diet. It was hard on every level. I mean, it was difficult to learn at first. It was scary. It was taking a leap of faith that I have not taken in a very long time. I have not done something like that in years, but I was just so completely fed up with this sort of cycle that I've been on for so many years, and I needed to find answers. I needed to find the truth. I needed to find the truth for myself, I guess. And I always talk about how because of everything going on, I really doubted everything, and sometimes that can be freeing because when you don't trust the science anymore, when you don't trust established narratives, I had a time in my life when I had questioned everything, so I thought, until everything happened in 2020, and I was just like, wow, there is zero legitimacy to this. It was not something that I couldn't even pick a side as much anymore. To a certain extent I could still, but it was just different. It was just so different. It's like, wow, even the medicine is not quite with it, then you see the police are not really there. The teachers are not teaching, the government isn't leading. We're not, nothing's working, and so I had to take matters into my own hands because I think a lot of people don't understand that my first attempts at correcting my weight and correcting my overall issues, my health problems, was to go to the doctor. I went to the doctor in 2004, and I was no, it might have even been earlier than that, to be honest. It might have been 2002. Somewhere in that range, I went to the doctor, and they told me that I needed to eat whole grains. I needed to, just the basic stuff. I needed to avoid fatty cuts of meat because I had fatty liver. So they told me not to eat fat. And I listened, and it didn't work. The hunger was really bad, and it just wasn't sustainable, and it was basically impossible to stick to. And so I didn't. And I think so often in life we will listen to people in authority. If they say something, we believe it. And if they're wrong, we don't ever look at any other way. We don't ever look at anything else. And that's what I've done over years. I've tried different diets. I've tried different things to try to figure out the answer. And overall, I had some failures. I had some successes, but ultimately it was just a cycle that I was on, and it was like a distraction or something that I would never actually recover from. You have a brief respite and then you can't sustain it, and then it gets worse. And it happened over and over again for years and years. And so last year, because of everything that happened, I just threw it all out. And I said, you know what? Like, anytime I've ever trusted this stuff, like, it's never worked. When I've trusted the science, when I've trusted the studies, when I've trusted what is supposed to work on paper, but what doesn't really make any sense in real life, or what doesn't really make sense even historically. Like, something like being ketogenic or being vegan, it doesn't make any sense in the context of even our human history. Like, for the vast majority of our lifetime as human beings, like, calories were a struggle, and there's just no way that you would ever turn down calorie sources from carbs or from meat, like, especially because they're the most calorically dense food and they're the most nutritious, and basically every single thing about them, It doesn't make sense that people would be eating a pound of kale every day like I did, Like, there's no way that our ancestors would have just been sitting and eating leaves all day. There's just no way. And I just it didn't click until it did, And I guess, like, in some ways, that's what had to happen. This image had to be broken. And so I took a risk. I took a chance. And I did this diet that was the opposite of everything I'd ever been told. You can't mix carbs and fat, Alex. You can't not count your calories. You're going to overeat. You can't, eat meat. It's really bad and it will make you fat. It's going to hurt your liver. You can't have sugar. You're going to be diabetic. And I found, like, so many people say these things and they believe them, but in reality, like, it doesn't stop anybody from eating sugar or eating fat. It just doesn't. And in the cases where it does, they tend to have very severe, very, very hardcore problems that come from this, come from cutting off those things. So when I found out that the supposedly good fats that we're supposed to be eating that are so important are actually the problem, it was just crazy. But I had everything I needed. Like, I had already been gluten-free for years. I had already done every single diet imaginable. I was really good at this. So I was really able to put it to the test. I already had the discipline from years of keto, intermittent fasting, all the shit I went through in the years prior, especially. I had rock solid discipline. And so I was able to really do this and really put it to the test. And I've seen the results now, and it's like, it's crazy. It shakes me to my core on every level. Because now I look at this picture, you know, that is the same exact shirt that I'm wearing. I remember being told by one of my subscribers, you know, your upper back is never going to go down. That's just the way it is. Well, look at it. I've been told, you know, that I haven't lost any weight. Look at it. I've been told I was going to die. Look at it. Still here. You can see the 6-month difference in my hair. You can see it. It's there. It's real, sweetie. And to me, it's like, I see how different I feel on the inside, and I see it now. It's starting to show on the outside, and I'm really happy. I feel vindicated. I really do. And this is never really about that, because it's kind of bigger than that, to be honest. Because even if people tell me, you know, this and that, and oh, I'm so wrong and whatever, like, it's all bullshit. Because at the end of the day, like, I'm the one that has to live in my own body. I'm the one that has to deal with what I deal with. And now, like, I'm not having to deal with as much. Like, I'm able to sit up further in the car. So it's easier for me to drive now. It doesn't hurt my chest so much. And I was having shortness of breath because I had to hold my arms up so much while I was driving, because I couldn't put the seat up enough to where I could reach the steering wheel. And that's changed. The pants that I could barely fit in October, I am now swimming in. And part of me, like I said, I'm very conflicted. I'm very much of two minds. Because on one hand, I'm so grateful and I'm so relieved and I'm so happy. I'm so just like, oh my fucking God, like, I fucking did it. Like, I found it. I've done this for 10.5 months. I've never cheated. I've never had a problem maintaining this. And do you realize what that means? That means that this progress in this picture is permanent. It's not changing. It's not going to go backwards. It's going to keep going. This is over. And that leads to the other mind. And the other mind that I have about this is that, like, it's a very huge ending in my life. This is something that I have struggled with literally my entire life. And to no longer have the struggle of weight, to no longer have the struggle of health issues and all this stuff, like, I don't even know who I am without it. And I haven't identified with my weight in a very long time, probably since around 2015, when I let go of being an SJW and just I just didn't care about like the fact that I was gay or that I was fat or that I was anything. I had a complete self-acceptance and a sort of awakening at that time in coming to Christ and all this stuff that happened in my life at that time, and I just didn't care anymore. So I haven't cared or haven't identified with it in about that long, but like to a certain extent, I do identify with the health struggle. And I don't really know if it's so much that I identify with it or that it is my identity to be sick. It's more so that I don't know what I'm going to do with my time. My whole life for the past almost 12 years, so 10, 11 years, has been focusing, actually 10 years exactly this year. I started my weight loss journey in 2012 on the 1st of January. So I've officially hit 10 years trying to figure this out. So my life for the past 10 years has been all about figuring this out. Now that I have, and it's resolving and it will be done, I've already told my boyfriend, like, I'm losing weight. Like, this is happening. My body is changing. And I think people don't always understand, but when you're in an online relationship and when it's long distance and all this stuff, whenever your partner changes, it's very scary because it feels like your whole, like, just reference point of that person is gone. And it makes you feel like you don't know who they are. And it's very scary. And he has done so well with this. And again, he's pretty much amazing, to be honest. But he handles things so well. I don't know. I guess he knows me at this point. It's been a long time. But anyways, so having to tell him, then like really reflecting on the fact that, like I said, not only is it I'm changing in his eyes, I'm changing in society's eyes as well. I see differences now when I'm in public. I'm more noticed, for better or for worse. And it's very strange. It makes me incredibly nervous because it's not so much that I identify with being sick or that I identify with being fat. It's that I don't know where I'm going. It's such an unknown that it is terrifying. I have never been thin, ever. I do not know what it is like. I have no idea. The last time I was thin, I was literally 4 or 5 years old. And I don't remember it. So this is like life-changing, literally, for me. And it's that kind of thing where it's like, I wished for it for so many years. I wanted it for so many years. And now that I have it, I'm like, oh shit. What is going to happen now? What am I going to do now? Because like I said, if the health struggle is done, then what am I going to do now? What am I going to do next? What do I focus on? What's my goal? I have to have a goal. If my health issues are gone, like, and like I said, it's like, there's nothing holding me back anymore. Like, there's nothing that I can't do. And that's like amazing, so, like I said. So I don't want to make this sound like it's a bad thing, because it's not. It's just like you fight and fight and fight, and you learn and learn and learn, and you strive and strive and strive. And eventually you get there and you're just like, holy shit, like I'm there. And like I said, like I don't make any bones. Like I know that I have a ways to go as far as weight loss and all that stuff. But what a lot of people don't understand is that weight loss, if you've never struggled with it, it is incredibly difficult to sustain for the most part. It is something that usually you are hitting your head against a wall to make it happen. It is like almost impossible. It is like one of the most impossible tasks, especially in the current society we live in, and the rules that they play by, basically. The lies that they tell. I'll say it flat out. And when you know the truth, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, shit, I'm losing weight now pretty effortlessly. You know, I told you guys that in November, when I started going to the gym, it was the hardest that this diet was ever going to be. And I wasn't wrong, because it's easier now. The diet is so easy. The detox from the weight loss is hard. Dealing with the social changes, the social ramifications is a little difficult, because now it's like the public side of it. It's not just internally anymore. Wondering if people are going to be jealous, wondering who's going to support me and who isn't, and all this stuff, and if certain relationships in my life are going to change and stuff. But knowing that there's nothing that can be done to prevent it anymore, because not only do I know what to do, but I want it. I've always wanted it. And I know that it's a challenge on certain things in my life. And I've wanted this for so long that I just don't even care anymore. And I used to care a lot. I always say, like, I used to live and die by what other people thought, and I just don't anymore. Because I've just realized, like, I've always wanted to be healthy. I've always wanted to be thin. And I don't care if I'm alone on an island and everybody hates my guts forever. I'm doing this because this is all me. This is what I want. This is who I really am, you know? And people will get jealous, and people will be bitchy, and people will do certain things that are not nice. People will be threatened because I'm not doing it in the correct way, quote unquote. And all this stuff that people will do. But at the end of the day, it's happening. This isn't fake. This isn't a dream. It's not a dream anymore. Like, this is real. Like, I wake up, you know, since the start of the year, I've lost 2 more inches. I have a pair of jeans in my closet that is a 46, and my waist is a 48. I never thought that I would get anywhere near that second pair of jeans in months and months and months. Like, I thought it would take almost until the summer, at least. When I started fitting in my jeans in October, I was like, oh shit, like, these are a 46. Like, I'm not going to be able to fit in those for almost a year. Dude, I'm almost there, and it's been less than 3 months since then. I'm just in shock. But I'm continuing on. You know, I'm not going to do anything to slow down the process. My body is healed enough that I can handle the really intense and fast fat loss, even though it's a struggle on the detox side. I'm just going to take fucking diatomaceous earth. It'll help detoxify. I'm going to just keep going because I'm done. I can't hold back anymore. Like, and I don't think I have to do this sort of tenuous progress anymore because I'm better. I'm better now, you guys. Like, and I still struggle with hypothyroidism. I do, but it's a normal case. It's not anything that I can't handle. It's just, yeah. All it is I'm cold. I'm a little sad sometimes. I have dry skin, low energy sometimes. I feel sensitive or vulnerable sometimes. But it's like a story of my life, you know, like this is nothing. On a physical level, this is nothing compared to what I've dealt with. So it's like, I think on my channel in general, the health journey is still going to be there. Like, but it's going to be a lot less relevant. Like, I probably won't talk about it as much because it's mostly resolved, to be honest. So already I'm going to have to start moving on to a certain extent, and I'm going to have to change things up on here, and I don't know what I'm going to do, but I got to figure it out. I got to figure out a lot of things, but as always, the content's going to change, and I still will talk about my health and stuff, but I'll probably do updates less often, like probably once a month or something like that, because I don't have much to talk about other than to tell you that it's real, that it's happening, that, you know, my clothes are fitting drastically differently. Like, this is real, honey. And I am vindicated. That's all I'm saying tonight. So with that, you guys, I'm going to go. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.